So maybe you guys have seen piles of 100 plus dead birds. And what those dead birds are, maybe they're white piles in front of 4 or 5 hunters, and you wonder how this is legal, why people do this, and why are they doing this now? And what they're doing is conserving and making a conservative act to control the population of snow geese in the world right now. And as you guys all know from Nebraska, farming is a big part of the economy. And according to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, in 2016, snow goose population has risen 300% to almost 5 million birds. Obviously, it can't be an exact number because birds are a little bit difficult to count one by one. But that's a growth of over 300% from the 1970s to 2016. And these birds and this increase in population has caused a major hardship for farmers because these birds are traveling in large numbers of group and each year growing in size and eating their crops, eating their livelihood and their income. These birds are also wreaking havoc on themselves and their breeding grounds. As their population has risen and traveling north each spring and summer to breed and to repopulate, they are currently eating themselves out of a breeding ground and are unable to provide for their young and for their growing population. I too have hunted snow geese in the past, so I am an avid person for this. I'm going to take an unbiased way to this because I understand that some people don't agree with the Conservation Act and do not agree with the way that hunters do their ways, but to me I believe that I am helping them as snow geese and their population and other birds because they're sharing the same breeding grounds, the same flyways with other animals. And anti-hunters, conservative people may wonder why we're doing this, and you have to see both sides of it, and that's what we're going to look at today. To allow to further understand the meaning behind the Conservation Act and the benefits, we will look into the science behind it, act as the officials, and take a hunter's and an anti-hunter's bird's eye view to it. To start things off, the importance of the hunting season. As I said, the population has grown tremendously in the past 30-40 years, and it's roughly grown around 5% each year according to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service in a recent study done in 2016. And they're causing harm to themselves and other birds, and even humans, like I said, the farmers, and even wreaking havoc on your local golf course, chasing golfers that hit it close to the water. They're eating themselves out of breeding grounds, they're eating themselves out of flyways, and they're eating themselves out of winter stays, and are forcing themselves to travel farther and farther each year to make the long journey south and the long journey north. They need a lot of food, and without this food, they're continually having to fly and burn calories that they aren't consuming each day because they're eating themselves out of food. In Nebraska, each spring, major thing driving up and down the highways, you see combines and tractors planting corn and seeds into the ground. As these farmers are planting these seeds in the ground each spring, millions of snow geese are flying that way. And as these planters are putting the seed in the ground, the snow geese are attracted to that because it's easy pickings. They see these easy calories and they will fly down, pick the seed, and then forcing the farmer to replant, spend more money, cost his family more money because he's losing income because of these birds. They spend even all their time in the winter as far south as South America and as far north in Texas in the winter to keep warm for their younger. And in the winter, they travel as far north as Siberia, and northern Canada. So now we'll look into the reasoning and the science behind it. As we all know, it's a dog-eat-dog world, and each animal has a predator. But birds are a little harder to attack and eat. Obviously, they can fly unlike all their other predators. And these predators in their breeding grounds are preying on their young and the smaller eggs, and they cannot keep up. There's not enough of them, and there's not enough population of predators in their breeding ground to help control this population. And that's where the officials and the scientists have pleaded for the Conservation Act to take place and to limit this population. So many people may think, is this poaching? Having thousands of birds in front of you? You look up on Cabela's website, there is a picture of 3 hunters who shot 762 snow geese. And is that poaching? I don't know, it's your point of view. I know a hunter in Iowa recently donated over 300 snow geese breasts and their meat to the Henry Doorly Zoo in Omaha to provide for food for the meat-eating animals there for all year, and it was at no cost to the Henry Doorly Zoo, providing for a service to the Henry Doorly Zoo at no cost to allow the guests of the Henry Doorly Zoo to get to experience those animals and to keep their admission costs low. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife has made very large strides in maintaining and limiting the population by allowing hunters different benefits to the hunting season. For example, they have allowed an unlimited bag limit, meaning you can shoot as many as you can kill in a day, as long as you're cleaning them and still using the meat for something as food, like the Henry Doorly Zoo, or eating it, donating it to homeless shelters for food. And they also allowed shotguns to be modified to allow more shells in order for the hunters to kill more birds than they normally would with 3 shells in a shotgun. The benefits of this, and looking at an anti-hunter's view and a hunter's point of view, and even non-hunters who do not have an opinion, quite frankly, on the topic. But the economy has benefited greatly because of this. And according to a study done in 2013 by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services of the United States, the waterfowl hunters generated over $20 billion into the economy from road trips, including gas, food, hotel rooms, paying for these hunting trips that can be very expensive, paying for their hunting equipment at different stores, have allowed $20 billion back into the economy. And waterfowl hunting has contributed over 234,000 jobs to the United States, including jobs at your local Cabela's selling waterfowl gear, avid hunting guides that allow inexperienced hunters to get to experience a hunting trip, and even, like I said, the gas and the hotel rooms to get there. Anti-hunters may struggle to see the benefits, and that is okay, because you don't have to, quite frankly, share the same values as other people do, and maybe the Conservation Act is not the right way to go to control the population of snow geese, and we will find out in the near future, and maybe the anti-hunters have a better argument than the hunters. The snow geese themselves benefit from the hunting season because they are allowing themselves more food, more flyways, more space in their breeding grounds and nesting grounds in order to repopulate in a healthy, safe environment that allows them to be controlled but not extinct because of their overpopulation. An extinction of the snow goose could have ripple effects across the biosystem, including what would cause for food for the snow fox, the owls, the wolves in the northern hemisphere, because that is a huge part of their diet during their breeding grounds because of the easy food source that the snow goose brings. So with that, in conclusion, we've investigated the science behind it and the importance, acted as the scientists behind the Conservation Act to realize why they are doing what they're doing and creating the laws that they've created, and taken many different stances from a human's point of view, an animal's point of view, and a overall good for the biosystem's view. And that is my speech on Snow Goose Conservation Act. Thank you.